Hey, Awesomes, I'm back. All right, so we went over a little bit of the, um, one of the resources, writing a white paper, and it kind of went down, and we talked a little bit about this part here, the title page, the introduction, background as research heavy. We talked about that we need to think about proposing a solution and then kind of wrapping up in a conclusion, which is kind of where you have your little bit of your mini sales pitch. Could come towards the end of your solution, but conclusion oftentimes is where they happen as well. And then you always need to make sure that you have plenty of references and citations that are also in your throughout your paper, right? That you have that you're citing them. But the other resource that we had in here was from HubSpot. What is a white paper? Kind of like a frequently asked questions kind of a page. And I kind of like their format here. I use HubSpot a lot to, for good information. I feel like they're a really good resource. I like this, what a white paper isn't, even though it says it's not a product pitch. It low-key kind of still is. The solution that you're presenting ultimately is one that you are familiar with, or in most companies' cases, their product. But really, still, the as it says here, the goal remains to inform and persuade based on facts and evidence, but not necessarily tell the world why they have to buy your product right now. Oftentimes, this could be futuristic, right? You think, should you have this problem, perhaps in a type of way? But the cool thing, or the kind of interesting thing to think about, when we think about Googling stuff, you think about going online and the internet, and the resource and the internet becoming the type of resource from an information standpoint that it has become. A lot of it is people looking for answers really, really, really quickly. And so this is where white papers can oftentimes help, or if they just need a little bit more information about the particular issue or problem that they're having. So, for example, as of recently, so I just had to just got my one of my vehicles back out of the shop because I was having trouble with there were these cooling tubes or something like that going, in my engine somewhere. Okay, hoses, and they were getting these holes in them. I'll come to find out they were from squirrels. So I went to try to figure out how I could possibly remedy this situation. And several months ago, I had stumbled upon the first problem. I didn't necessarily really believe that it was caused by squirrels. I found a white paper, read about some of the solutions, and then finally, was able to employ one of those solutions. And now I don't have that problem. But it was really nice to have a short and sweet. Gave me all the details, gave me the facts, gave me the evidence, gave me all the things that I needed to know for my problem, right? And then now I have the solution, right? So one of the things I did want to point out here is the thing here, to talk about what makes a good white paper. And I think a lot of it has to do with the right length, right? You don't want it to, the purpose of, in some instances, in some cases, a white paper will be over a huge topic, and it will necessarily be longer. But this doesn't necessarily need to be as short as a one-page like blog kind of thing might be, but it doesn't need to be an ebook either. It certainly doesn't need to be a full-blown 25-page report or informational report or argumentative paper or any of those type of things. It's really a marketing. It's the academic. I think it even says in one of these two articles. I can't remember which. It's like the academic article for marketing, and in a way that it is. But they're not meant to be long. They still need to be kind of short and sweet. And this talks about this is no or fewer than 6 pages, including illustrations, charts, and references. And I think that that's probably true. And I think if you include a front page and a back page, right, which most of them will. Front page has the title on it, and then you've got 4 pages of copy, interdispersed here. You're going to have maybe highlights of certain quotes that you want to highlight. You're going to have some graphs and some images that really help too, because what you're also trying to do with the white paper is you're really trying to not only persuade, but you're also trying to be authoritative. You're also trying to be in depth, but not in depth in the same type of academic sense that you would when you would give like a literature review or go into an extraneous amount of detail to demonstrate a different type of ethos. This type of ethos, you want to demonstrate that you can get this information delivered in a much shorter period, not only of time, but also of space, right? Because you don't want to have a white paper that someone opens up and it's overwhelming. I think the one that I read was 4 pages, maybe, right? But there were pictures of the product, too. There were graphs from surveys. There were graphs from percentages of problems. There were, charts, a couple of different things like that. And then the copy was so I didn't really feel like all one page was just nothing but graphs and charts and images, and nothing was just top to bottom writing. So there's a good balance of both. I don't want to say it needs to be 50-50, but I would definitely think, maybe something along the lines of, 70%, 65, 70, 75% maybe text, 25, 30% ish, images and, that are supporting very specifically what it is that you are talking about. This is an interesting discussion here about case study, because I write a lot of case studies too. And similarly, there is a very, very similar type thing happening you could do a case study white paper. Those can be interesting to do. So if you have a particular case study type approach that you want to do, I'd be okay with that. But just make sure that it does follow the white paper kind of voice a little bit, right? Make sure you show that level of authority, proper length structure. It's going to be denser in a lot shorter amount of time and space as well. Of course, you don't have to worry about PDF formatting. You still use 8.5 by 11, okay? And you can use a 2-column structure and bring things in and, be creative. And then you make sure that you are very, very, very professional and serious in the sense that you are trying to be authoritative and you demonstrate an in-depth knowledge, but also very, very squeezed in. And I'm not expecting you obviously to hire a graphic designer, but make sure that you include images and use fonts and colors properly so that it's also visually appealing as well. All right, guys, to give some more background there for the white paper. I hope you're excited about writing this paper. It can be really, really a lot of fun to kind of just hone in on one thing, problem, solution, and then have some fun putting it together, putting some graphs and some stuff like that together. All right, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I hope